Well, hello, it is Longhaultanker, straight razor shaving with Longhaultanker. And today is Monday, the 4th of December, 2023 at approximately 17:50, that's 5:50 p.m. Pacific time. And I am in Williams, California at the Love's Truck Stop here. And I've got 3 days of whiskers. 3 days of old man wiry whiskers, and I'm not pursuing my little caudicle experiment right now because I'm not at home. But today is day number 6 on the road. I've had a nice hot shower. I'm tired. Today's not been an extremely difficult day, but the getting here has been more difficult. And I'll tell you about that as the program unfolds. Let's get to the equipment. Our razor for the face shave today is going to be a Frederick Reynolds Sheffield pre-1891, and a nice wedge there with, I don't know if these are real tortoise or imitation tortoise. As old as this is, I don't know if these have been replaced, etc. This was, when I got it, I've got 2 like this, and bought from the same vendor. And they weren't 100%, but with just maybe a half a dozen strokes on the Shapton Glass 30,000, they became excellent shavers. And so we'll set that. Got a little bit of a water mess here I'm having to contend with. Usually I brought with me on the road this week Cella. This is the aloe vera version, Crema de Barba all aloe vera shaving cream. And so this is their new one. They came out not long ago, and very nice scent to it. All right, do that there. Get some, fill up this sink again. Yeah, I turned my back on the sink. I was filling the sink with hot water, and the drain, the overflow drain is not working. And before I knew it, I had water everywhere. And like I say, didn't know it, behind my back. And oh, my brush is a Badger. I can't remember, it slipped my mind, my brain is going. Elite Razor. It's the same as the super nice Simpson that I got, kind of bad. It's not a Super Badger, it's a Manchurian. There it goes. Yeah, my brain kicked in. Okay, sun timers, all right. So I'm loading the brush up here, and I left the load loaded, and of course we had our preload driver on it then, and he got it loaded on Wednesday. The load time appointment was 9:45 in the morning. The truck got back to the trailer, the preload got back to the yard at about 1 o'clock, 1:30 maybe. What I do remember for certain is that I left the yard at 14:30 Central Time on last Wednesday. And I don't know if I'd been smarter, I learned a valuable lesson about trusting my own judgment, which sometimes it's human nature. If we think we can do something a little bit more than what we know that we should do or ought to do, we'll go ahead and extend ourselves when we shouldn't have, and then we find ourselves in a mess as a result of not following our first mind, our first anyway, I'll tell you. So I left at the preload driver didn't do half of the things that they're supposed to do to get a load ready to go on the road. This was a temperature controlled product. He did not fill the trailer in-transit heat system with antifreeze. But I've learned long ago that they often don't. So I take the trailer. As soon as it gets into the yard, run it by the shop. Make sure that it's charged with antifreeze. Because see, these guys, they're all local guys. They don't think about going 2,000 miles away in freezing temperature that's going to lower the temperature. And so they're thinking, oh, I gave it to you, they loaded at 100 degrees, I gave it to you at 100 degrees, and that's the last they think about it. And my temperature range on the product was approximately 85 degrees to 100 Fahrenheit, I'm talking about. And so left the yard at 2:30 last Wednesday. And when I'm going west, I usually go straight out I-10, depending upon where I'm going, but that's generally, because I can always, from further points out west, I can always get to Interstate 40 or Interstate 80 if I have to. I-25 north through Denver if I need to get to 80, but that's not the way I go for 80 anyway. But certainly 25 north to Albuquerque to pick up I-40 if that's one way to go, or to Phoenix and pick up I-17 and go north to Flagstaff. That's one way to go to get to I-40. The more customary way to go out of Houston is to go up I-45 to Dallas, cut across on I-20 through Fort Worth, pick up 280, what is that, 820, and take it, and 287, and take it northwest through Fort Worth and pick up 287 on the northwest side, and then take 287, US 287 highway all the way out to Amarillo, where you pick up I-40. And so I was going to take the I-10 route, and I have a cross-country secret that gets me through Lubbock and Amarillo, and that helps me to avoid Dallas-Fort Worth, which is a mess. But you gotta go through San Antonio. It's a mess too, but not as big a mess as Dallas-Fort Worth. 6.5 hours from the yard to Sonora, Texas, out in the desert, far west Texas. I say far west Texas, it's still 300 miles from El Paso. So it's a long ways out there. And I thought, I'm leaving the yard at 2:30. It's 6 hours, 8:30 and a half, 9 o'clock. So I'm gonna get out there about 9 o'clock. But here's the problem. The problem is it's out in the middle of nowhere in the desert. And if you can't find a place at that truck stop, you are royally infringed upon. All right, here we go. Frederick Reynolds. And I got, like I said, 3 days of growth. I can feel it cutting just fine. Beautiful. And sure enough, you see, as I got going, I thought, you know what, I should stop in Weimar, Texas, which is about an hour and 20 minutes to the west of Houston. And I did pass Weimar at 4:30, and I knew there'd be a place to park at that hour. I just knew it. And there, I didn't go in there. Can't say for a fact there was, but I'm sure there was. So I got out there to Sonora, Texas, and because of the delays that I had going through San Antonio, it was about 9:45 p.m. when I got out there. I had to go through the fuel line and fuel up the truck, and I wanted to do that because by then I was pretty sure they're going to be full up anyway, and there was nothing else for me really to do, and I wanted to fuel up to get ready for the next day. And I was down, I don't know, at least a half a tank, because it was going to be a long way. And before the next Love's truck stop for me to fuel up, so I went ahead and fueled up there. And I ended up parking that night on the side of the road outside of the truck stop on a dirt shoulder underneath the no parking sign. And I was perturbed at myself that I didn't follow my first mind, and it just kind of set me off. I called my safety manager, told him what happened. He said, because it's against company policy not to truck the park in a designated parking place in a safe place. Because we're a hazmat, we're always placarded most of the time. My destination was Medford, Oregon, where I made delivery this morning. New customer that we're delivering to for the shipper that we have a long-standing business relationship with. One of the big names in chemicals. If I were to name it, you'd know it. I'm absolutely positive. When I was assigned the load and I was told it was 2,300 miles and they were giving me 4 days to get there, I said, wait a minute, that's not the way to calculate load. I said, I'll probably make it, but that's not enough days and I'm requesting another day. For calculation purposes, it's 1 day per 500 miles. And I was playing a little bit stubborn, even though I knew it was a new customer and there were some special events that were connected with it. I said, their dog and pony show doesn't interest me. The only thing that interests me is safety and finding a place to park at night. And so because I got stopped the night before in Sonora so late, I got a late start the next morning. Should have been going, my habit is to get going about 5:30 in the morning. That way I can get my 10 hours in and stop early enough to find a place to park. And that's a practice that has served me very well over the years. I didn't want anything on any load to break that custom and habit just because you think you've got to have it there. And I'm telling you, it's going to take an extra day. Really, to drive it comfortably and so forth. And I got there, and I even had a little time to spare, and I did find parking places along the way. But it's the low percentage game. You go into a truck stop late in the afternoon, early, after sundown, your likelihood of finding a place is so far lower, so much smaller than if you'd gotten in there a little bit earlier before the rush. And that's the game I like to play, beating the odds. I want to go into a truck stop when I can find a place to park where the odds are higher and in my favor to find a place to park. Only makes sense, right? Don't put me in a position where I can't play that, because that's just going to make me mad. Likelihood is I'm not going to find a place to park, and now I'm stuck. So I got started a little bit later that next morning. It was probably around 8 o'clock or so, 8:30 even maybe. And it wasn't hardly any time. And I took the highway out of Sonora, Texas, that goes straight north. And eventually brings you out at Lubbock, Texas, and then on to Amarillo. Got Patsy Cline on the intercom radio, and I like that song. There's a young lady on YouTube, I don't remember her name right now, who has an incredible voice. I'm going to find some more out about her, but I know she does Tammy Wynette, Stand By Your Man, with just the full force and power of I went through some of her other recordings that she's got on YouTube, and she didn't do any Patsy Cline, and I wrote her, and she was kind enough to reply back. Thanks for the suggestion. I said, you ought to try some of Patsy Cline stuff. With your voice, you can handle that. That kind of power, as good as she did the Tammy Wynette stuff. But anyway, I digress. So I had gotten started last Thursday morning, had barely gotten started, and I started getting the phone calls. When are you going to get there? When are you going to get there? And I said, are you kidding? I said, I'm still 3 days out. You know, so I have no idea, but I'm requesting that extra day. And I want you to get me that extra day. Oh no, can't. It's got to be absolutely positively, must be there Monday morning. Because there's people flying in from all across, from 2 different locations to be there for your arrival, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm thinking to myself, oh no. Dog and pony show is what I'm thinking. But I told the dispatcher that was calling me, I said, and he was the one that was riding me pretty good. I told him about the night before, pushing on, shouldn't have done it. I said, I'm not going to make that mistake again tonight. I'm going to stop in Amarillo. Which if I had driven straight out of Houston to Amarillo, it would have taken about 10.5 hours. And so by the end of the second day, I was in Amarillo, but it didn't take any more clock hours or driving hours than if I had just driven it straight through. And so now I had 3 days to get there. Amarillo to Williams, Arizona, Williams, Arizona to somewhere in California, one of those Lowe's truck stops off at Madera. It was that second day out. Well, the leg from Amarillo to Williams, that was the extra long leg. That was 630 miles. Then from Williams to Madera was 585 miles, and then the leg from Madera to Medford, Oregon was 485 miles. So those last 2 days were really quite comfortable enough. I got into the truck stop on Sunday afternoon in Medford. At about 1:30 in the afternoon, I left especially early to be sure that I could find a place to park. And sure enough, I got there. It was wide open. Had my pick of places, which is a good thing. Got over there this morning. My delivery time was 10 o'clock this morning. And pulled up to the gate, got up to the scale, nobody there to meet me, no instructions on anything for me to do. I called the phone number. Oh yeah, we'll send somebody out there for you. You're a special load, blah, blah, blah. And so guy comes out, shows me where to go. Nothing special to this at all. I told him what I had been told. He said, no, we don't know. I don't know anything about it. People coming out from the shipper. They were coming out from Michigan and from Freeport, Texas, which is south of Houston. And the place that I went to, I'm not going to call the name of it, but it was a wood products. It was like a logging mill, is the best way. It's a huge sawdust all over the place. Acted like paste. It was a little bit of a misty, rainy day, and there was stuff, all over the ground, and got mixed with water and rain. And The other truck drivers I saw over there were dirty, and their trucks were dirty. You could tell that none of these guys were long haul drivers. They were all local drivers, because that's how you look at a logging truck and it's just all beat up and dirty, because they're going out in where they're cutting down the trees in the forest. They got bad roads they gotta navigate. And bring the trees to the mill. And so these are not, and I can only imagine what the inside of their truck looks like, tracking all that stuff in, but I couldn't have it. Because I live in my truck. It must be clean at all times, and nothing gets past the driver's side. I got little carpet pieces thrown down under my feet on the driver's side, so I can clean it out easy enough. So I did get a shave in Amarillo. I shave every other night, so I did get a shave in Madera. Or did I not? 3 days, I'm trying to account for the 3 days of growth on my face. And I did not get one last night. Maybe I didn't get one in Madera. Maybe it was Williams, Arizona, because they got a real nice love trucks up there. So it was just a dirty plant. I didn't see anything extraordinary about the facility, nothing extraordinary about the services that I had to provide. Unload the trailer. How hard is that? I've done it 1,000 times. Well, maybe not 1,000, but enough that I'm not going to embarrass anybody. No, really, I don't unload the trailer or load it, but maybe just a handful of times every year, which is not very much. It's the people in the plant that deal with that stuff and the equipment every day. And there's the guy that I dealt with today, typical guy, mid-50s, it's your truck. Well, what is it? So, what is it you're trying to say? That I should unload it just because it's my truck? And that's a line of thought. That is a school of thought amongst what we do. When I get a different trailer every week, it's always configured differently. And most of the big plants, you won't get that. It's always the operators in the plants that are unloading, especially a hazmat product. Want a little more soap here. Went on a little thin. Delightful soap, love it. If you get some, you'll love it. Took just under 2 hours to unload the truck. Two of my friends out there whose videos I watch regularly, Jock at Dapper Shaves and Martin at Martin Shave Tests, and I watch Gary Harwood a lot too. I haven't called his name out much because he doesn't know who I am, likely. And Bill M. in Pennsylvania, and Lukey 3262, also known as Matt. He's done a couple of videos here recently, having been on a bit of a hiatus. Good to see him back. But I don't always leave comment. Here lately, I've been very tired in the truck, late in the early evening, let's say. Very tired. I'm just not a spring chicken anymore. The body wears down, runs down. So somewhere along the way here, on my way home, I'm going to have to either slow roll my hours, because I'm down to about 20 hours. And I've got 31 hours to get back to Houston. That's how many hours it's going to take to get back. So I got to start picking up hours on Thursday morning. But that first day is not going to be very many, 6. And so I expect to be home sometime on this coming weekend. I'm not sure what day yet, because I haven't done that close of a calculation. But I wanted to make the comment about my friends that I that I called out here just a minute ago. I'm watching your stuff. I may not always comment, but y'all are doing a good job. I keep up with you. feels just nice. Pink and shiny. I met up with a truck driver friend of mine one time. We were on the road and happened to stop at the same truck stop together. And it happened to be a shave night. Can't miss a shave night. So he had dinner or whatever, but he waited for me and we talked, and after my shower and shave, and I come walking out. He says to me, well, don't you just look so pink and shiny? And it stuck. And that's all right. He's since passed away, and very older guy, sick. So we got everything done that we were supposed to get done on this trip. All we got to do now is get home and get out of California. I did think about going an alternate way home, when I get down here to Sacramento, cut east on Interstate 80 and go through Nevada, Utah, Wyoming on the way home. Wyoming, Nebraska. but I'm gonna go to tomorrow. I'm 7 hours from Boron, California. They've got a beautiful Love's truck stop there. I got a slow roll on the way home anyway. I just soon be in the desert in the fall, in the winter. Then be at the top of Donner's Pass in Nevada, or eastern California, at Truckee, California, Donner's Pass, and I've got a friend that keeps a former truck driver texting me and sending me links to weather reports. It's supposed to storm in Medford. It's supposed to storm at Truckee. And I'm not seeing those reports in the usual National Weather Service or the Weather Channel. So I don't know where those reports are coming from that he's seeing that it's supposed to storm. I don't know if you could notice while I was shaving with this wedge, I was attempting to make a concerted effort to use light pressure, letting the weight, and I can, letting the weight of the razor do the shave, no pressure, which is what you should do anyway, regardless of wedge, full hollow, whatever. All right, Frederick Reynolds. That's about a 7/8, I guess. Just a beautiful, polished up. The people over at, I'll put it in the notes. They did a great job with it. All right, we're going to use this gold dollar for the head shave, which I will say has done a very good job. That was honed up on the Shapton glass, finished on 30,000 Shapton glass. Better. All right. That's a big old bug that just landed on the mirror. And we're a few minutes ahead of schedule. That's amazing. I'm gonna turn that fan back on. It got stuffy in here real quick. Oops, excuse me. To the animal rights people that may have been offended by me killing a bug on camera, which you didn't actually see the killing of the bug, but nonetheless, I don't care what you get people think anymore. I never did anyway. That's kind of what we just got to stop doing, is being intimidated by the morons. I want to thank every chimpanzee that's ever died in a medical experiment to make my life better. Thank you. Well, it made me feel good. I should have come down a little further on my with the grain strokes here, but it don't matter because I'm getting a nice, good line edge. Look at that, that's a pretty one right there, the best I can tell. Oh yeah, that's even better. feels real good. I like that. All right, almost done here. Thank you for your patience and staying with me. Just going to do the back of the neck and we'll be done. Oh, I got to do the Ozma alum block, and then we'll be done. Well, we're just about done now. Okay, I think that's it. And look at that, no blood. Got no blood today. Yeah, that's better. Okay, there it is. Let's get the alum block going here. Very good. Very little. Very little sting, almost none. Always wash your hands, rinse your hands after using alum and before touching any razors, any steel that you don't want stained. I'm glad that there are others that are promoting this idea as well. Okay, that's it. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you down the road.